The vault door weighs 3 tons and costs more than most people earn in a lifetime. Graham Holt stares at it like it just betrayed him. His hand trembles against the brushed steel surface, fingertips leaving smudges he'll never admit are from sweat. The biometric scanner blinks red 3 times, then goes dark. Behind him, 5 of the most expensive mines in Manhattan stand frozen, their leather portfolios suddenly useless. Nobody speaks. The silence in the executive conference room tastes like panic masked in cologne. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame the city below, where people move like ants, unaware that 53 floors above them, an empire is about to crack. Holt turns slowly. His jaw tightens in that way the media loves to photograph, the expression that says confidence even when his pulse is screaming. He built his reputation on making problems disappear. Competitors, whistleblowers, inconvenient truths. But Vault C won't disappear. If you're watching this from somewhere in the world right now, drop a comment and tell me where you're tuning in from. I want to know who's writing this story with me. The lawyers tried first, then the cybersecurity team, then the forensic accountant who once cracked a cartel's offshore network. All of them left the room quieter than they entered, their reputations suddenly lighter, their invoices suddenly uncertain. The countdown clock in Holt's mind ticks louder than his Patek Philippe watch. Federal regulators arrive in 4 hours. 4 hours to access files that prove his empire runs on clean money, legal trades, transparent deals. 4 hours to pull documentation that doesn't exist. Because what's inside Vault C isn't proof of innocence. It's proof of everything else. Holt looks at Marcus Chen, his head of security, a man whose silence is usually reassuring. Today it feels like abandonment. "Get someone else," Holt says. His voice carries that edge people mistake for authority, when it's really just fear with better tailoring. Chen's face doesn't move. "Sir, we've exhausted the vetted list." "Then get someone unvetted." "Sir, I don't care if you pull someone from the mailroom. I don't care if they're mopping floors. Find me someone who can think past their credentials." The room shifts. Not in agreement, in shock. Graham Holt doesn't ask mailroom workers for help. He doesn't acknowledge they exist beyond the signatures on their NDAs. But desperation makes men do things their publicists have to spin later. Chen's phone buzzes. He glances down, then back up, and something flickers across his face that Holt can't read. "There's one more person in the building," Chen says slowly. "Who?" "The new hire, junior risk analyst, started this morning." Holt's laugh comes out sharp, bitter. "You want me to trust a vault worth hundreds of millions to someone on their first day? She's in the lobby." "She?" Chen nods. The lawyers exchange glances. One of them, a woman named Veronica, whose retainer could fund a school, leans forward. "Graham, we need someone with clearance, background checks, verified. We need someone in the next 10 minutes or none of this matters," Holt snaps. He moves toward the door, his hand already on the glass handle. The city below keeps moving, the clock keeps ticking. And somewhere 53 floors down, a girl who doesn't know she's about to be humiliated stands in a lobby that cost more than her entire neighborhood. Holt pauses at the elevator. "Bring her up," he says. Then, almost to himself, he adds, "Let's see how people like her handle real pressure." The elevator doors close with a whisper that sounds like a countdown. And in the lobby, Nyah Rivers checks her phone one last time, sees the eviction notice in her email, and takes a breath that feels like her last good one. The vault door hums in the silence. Waiting. Nia's heels click against marble that reflects her face back like a mirror made of money. She doesn't belong here. The lobby knows it. The security guards know it. The crystal chandelier 40 feet above her head definitely knows it. Everything in Holt Meridian Tower speaks a language she learned through library books and late-night internet deep dives, not country clubs and legacy admissions. Her code is pressed. Her resume is perfect. Her references are glowing. None of it matters when you're walking into a building where the doormen wear nicer suits than your pastor on Easter Sunday. A woman in Chanel sunglasses brushes past without looking. Her perfume costs more than Nyah's rent. Was more than Nyah's rent. Past tense. Because the apartment is gone now, keys handed over yesterday to a landlord who didn't meet her eyes. Nyah stops near a marble pillar and pretends to check her phone. Really, she's checking her reflection in the black screen. Her locks are tied back neat. Her blouse has no wrinkles. Her mother taught her that presentation is the first language of survival. Aura, her mother. 3 months since the funeral. 12 weeks since Nyah sat in a hospital room and watched monitors go flat. 90 days since she promised a woman too tired to argue that she'd make something of the wreckage they'd been handed. The hospital bills came first. Then the credit card statements. Then the eviction notice. Then this job posting, appearing in her inbox like a lifeline thrown by someone who doesn't actually want you to grab it. Junior risk analyst, Holt Meridian Capital. Salary that could restart her life. Requirements that looked designed to keep people like her out. She applied anyway. They called back in 2 hours. Red flag number 1. The interview lasted 9 minutes. They offered her the position before she reached her car. Red flag number 2. But desperation doesn't have the luxury of counting red flags. Desperation just counts days until the lights get shut off. Across the lobby, a group of executives cluster near the elevator bank. Their laughter sounds expensive. One of them glances her way, does the math in half a second, and looks away faster. She knows that look. It's the same look guidance counselors gave her when she said she wanted to study finance. The same look bank officers gave her mother when she tried to refinance after the medical debt hit. The same look the world gives people who dare to want more than what they were handed. Nyah checks her watch. 2 minutes until orientation. She practiced her introduction 17 times last night. Confident but not aggressive. Smart but not threatening. Grateful but not desperate. All the things you have to be when the door isn't supposed to open for you. The elevator chimes. A man in a dark suit steps out, scanning the lobby. His eyes land on her and stop. Security. She can tell by the way he moves, the way his gaze catalogs exits and angles before it catalogs people. He walks toward her. Nyah's stomach drops. Too soon. She's not even officially an employee yet. What could she have already done wrong? Miss Rivers. His voice is neutral, professional. Yes? Mr. Holt would like to see you. 53rd floor. Her rehearsed introduction evaporates. Now? Now. The executives near the elevator stop talking. She feels their attention like heat on her back. The security guard gestures toward the elevator, his expression giving away nothing. Nyah follows. The doors close behind them with a sound like a vault ceiling shut. The elevator climbs in silence. Her reflection multiplies in the mirrored walls, 1,000 versions of herself rising towards something she can't name. The guard doesn't speak. The floor numbers tick upward. 30, 40, 50. Her phone buzzes, a text from her cousin. First day, you got this. Nyah doesn't respond. The elevator slows. 53. The doors open onto a hallway that smells like leather and decisions made by people who've never missed a meal. The guard leads her past frosted glass walls, past offices where people speak in numbers that sound like prayers. They stop at a conference room. Through the glass, she sees him. Graham Holt, the man whose face appears on magazine covers with headlines about disruption and vision and legacy. The man whose hedge funds survived 3 recessions while others drowned. The man her mother once called a monster in a meeting Nyah was too young to remember, but old enough to have overheard. Holt looks up. Their eyes meet through the glass. And for just a second, something flickers across his face that looks almost like recognition. But that's impossible. He wouldn't remember. Men like him don't keep track of the people they destroy. The guard opens the door. Sir, Miss Rivers. Holt stands. The room stands with him. 5 other people, all watching her like she's a specimen under glass. Come in, Holt says. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Nyah steps inside, and the door closes behind her with a click that sounds exactly like a trap. People like you always think today is the day your life changes. The room waits for her to flinch. Nyah doesn't. She stands in the doorway of the conference room, her coat still buttoned, her bag still on her shoulder, and meets Graham Holt's eyes without blinking. The executives shift in their seats. One of them, a man with silver hair and cufflinks that could pay her mother's final hospital bill, clears his throat. Holt's smile spreads wider, not friendly, hungry. Do you know what that is? He gestures toward the far wall. Nyah follows his hand. At first, she sees only glass and steel, the architecture of wealth. Then she notices the seam, a door recessed into the wall, barely visible, the kind of entrance designed to disappear until someone wants you to see it. Vault C, someone murmurs behind her. The name lands in the room like a stone in still water. Nyah has heard the rumors. Everyone in finance has. Vault C, the locked room. The sealed archive. The place where Holt Meridian Capital keeps its secrets wrapped in encryption and steel. Some say it holds offshore account records. Others say it contains evidence of trades made seconds before market crashes. The kind of timing that's either genius or illegal, depending on who's asking. A few whisper it's empty. Just a symbol. A way to make people think there's something worth hiding. Nyah doesn't know which story is true. But she knows the vault exists for a reason. Holt walks toward it, his steps casual, performative. He places one hand on the steel surface like he's introducing an old friend. Biometric lock. Military-grade encryption. 3-ton reinforced door, designed by the same team that built panic rooms for foreign dignitaries. He turns back to her. It's impossible to open without the proper credentials. 5 people have tried today. Lawyers, tech specialists, people with decades of experience. The executives watch her, waiting for her to ask why she's here, waiting for her to look confused, overwhelmed, out of place. Nyah stays quiet. Holt's smile shifts into something sharper. You want to know the funny part? He doesn't wait for her to answer. I'm feeling generous today, so here's an offer. He spreads his arms wide, theatrical, a man performing for an audience that's already laughing at the punchline. Open that vault, Holt says, his voice climbing just loud enough for the whole room to hear, and $100 million is yours. Silence. Not the thoughtful kind, the stunned kind, the kind that comes right before laughter or violence. One of the executives snorts, another hides a grin behind her hand. The man with the expensive cufflinks shakes his head like he just watched a child try to buy a car with Monopoly money. Nyah feels heat crawl up her neck. This isn't a test, it's a show. She's not here because they need her. She's here because Holt needs someone to humiliate, someone to remind the room of the natural order, someone to laugh at so they can all feel secure in their positions. Her mother's voice echoes in her head, soft but steady. The same voice that told her to walk away from fights she couldn't win. The same voice that also told her, some fights choose you. Holt leans against the conference table, arms crossed, waiting. No thoughts, no questions. I just offered you more money than you'll see in 10 lifetimes. The room holds its breath. Nyah looks at the vault, then back at Holt. Her voice comes out calm, too calm. You're serious. The room shifts. Holt's smile flickers. Just for a second. Just long enough for everyone to see it. Excuse me? You're serious, Nyah repeats, about the offer. One of the lawyers steps forward, a tall woman with sharp features and sharper words. Miss Rivers, I think what Mr. Holt is trying to... I know what he's trying to do, Nyah says. The lawyer stops. Nyah takes a step closer to the vault, not toward Holt, toward the door itself. Her eyes trace the seams, the panel, the small biometric scanner embedded near the handle. Her mind moves faster than her fear. She's seen systems like this before, not in person, but in her mother's notes, in the files her mother kept in a locked drawer, the ones Nyah found after the funeral. Risk architecture, security protocols, backdoor authentication sequences. Her mother built half the algorithms that power Holt Meridian Capital's early warning systems, before they fired her, before they blacklisted her, before they made sure no one in finance would ever hire her again. Nyah turns back to Holt. Before your security escorts me out, she says quietly, you might want to check who actually owns what's inside that vault. The silence that follows is different. Colder. Holt's face changes. Not anger yet. Something worse. Confusion. The kind that comes right before fear. What did you just say? Nyah doesn't repeat herself. She just holds his gaze. And for the first time since she walked into the building, Graham Holt looks at her like she might be dangerous. The lawyer moves first. She steps between Nyah and the vault like a human wall, her voice dropping into that legal tone people use when they're about to threaten you with words that sound polite. Miss Rivers, I think there's been a significant misunderstanding about why you're here. Nyah doesn't move. No misunderstanding. You were brought up for orientation purposes, the lawyer continues, her smile thin and calculated. Mr. Holt's offer was obviously rhetorical, a bit of levity during a stressful. Then why is everyone so quiet? The room freezes. The lawyer's smile cracks at the edges. Behind her, Holt's expression shifts from confusion to something darker. He pushes off the conference table and walks toward Nyah with the kind of slow, deliberate steps meant to intimidate. You think you're clever? He says softly, walking in here on your first day, making cryptic comments about ownership and access. You think that impresses people? Nyah meets his eyes. I think your vault has a problem. My vault is fine. Then open it. The challenge hangs in the air like smoke. One of the executives, a younger man with wire-rimmed glasses, leans forward. Sir, the regulators arrive in less than 4 hours. We don't have time for... I'm aware of the timeline, Holt snaps. The room goes silent again. Holt's hand flexes at his side, the only visible sign that the control he's famous for is starting to slip. He looks at the security guard still standing by the door. Chen, escort Miss Rivers back to... The authentication protocol has 3 layers, Nyah says. Everyone stops. She continues, her voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding her system. Biometric scan, encrypted passphrase, and a 3rd verification sequence tied to the original system architect's credentials. The man with the wire-rimmed glasses straightens. How do you know that? Nyah doesn't answer him. She looks at Holt. Your team tried the first 2 layers. That's why they failed. The system requires all 3 to grant access, and the 3rd layer isn't documented anywhere in your current security files. The lawyer steps closer. That information is classified. There's no way a junior analyst would have access to. My mother built your risk infrastructure, Nyah says. The words come out harder than she intends. Before you fired her. Before you made sure she couldn't work anywhere else in this industry. Nyah Rivers, lead algorithm architect. 2007 through 2012. The room goes completely still. Holt's face drains of color. Not all at once, slowly, like watching ice melt in reverse. That's impossible. Why? Because you assumed she disappeared when you destroyed her career? Because you thought blacklisting someone meant erasing them completely? The man with the glasses pulls out his phone, fingers moving fast across the screen. Sir, there is a Nyah Rivers listed in archived personnel files. Terminated. Reason coded as performance issues. Performance issues, Nyah repeats. Her voice shakes now, but not from fear. From rage held behind a dam that's been cracking for 3 months. She refused to falsify risk assessments. She wouldn't sign off on your offshore account structures. So you fired her and made sure no one else would hire her. Holt takes a step back. Security? She kept copies, Nyah says. Documentation, backdoor credentials, every system she built for you, every algorithm, every authentication sequence. She kept it all. The lawyer's professional mask slips. That's corporate espionage. That's insurance, Nyah counters, against people who destroy lives and call it business. Chen, the security guard, moves toward her. His hand doesn't go to his weapon, but the threat is clear. Nyah doesn't run. She looks at Holt, and for the first time since entering the room, she sees something other than arrogance in his face. She sees fear. My mother died 3 months ago, Nyah says quietly. Hospital bills, medical debt, stress from losing everything because you needed a scapegoat. And when she died, she left me more than grief. She left me access. Holt's hand trembles. You're lying. Am I? Nyah walks toward the vault. Chen moves to block her, but Holt holds up one hand. The gesture stops everyone. The room holds its breath. Nyah stops in front of the biometric panel. The screen glows soft blue, waiting. She doesn't touch it yet. She just looks at it, her mind racing through sequences her mother wrote in journals, in encrypted files, in notes left behind like breadcrumbs for someone smart enough to follow. The 3rd authentication layer, Nyah says, not turning around. requires the original architect's biometric signature. But there's a secondary override built into the system, a failsafe, in case the architect was ever locked out. There's no override, the man with glasses says. I've reviewed the documentation. Your documentation is incomplete. She places her hand on the panel. The screen flickers, then goes dark. Security phones begin vibrating all at once. The panel stays dark for 3 seconds that feel like 30. Nyah's palm stays pressed against the glass, her fingerprints leaving marks she can't take back. Behind her, someone whispers something about protocols and liability. Someone else moves toward the door. The energy in the room shifts from skeptical to something sharper, something that tastes like panic, dressed in business casual. Then the panel blinks. Oh, not red, not green, amber. A color Nyah has never seen in any demonstration video, any training module, any official documentation. The screen displays a single line of text in a font that looks 20 years old, legacy code from systems built before touchscreens became standard. Secondary authentication required. Holt steps forward. His voice cracks at the edges. What is that? Nyah doesn't answer. Her mind races through her mother's notes, the ones she found in a waterproof case hidden under the floorboards of their old apartment. Pages and pages of handwritten code sequences, diagram after diagram of security architecture, all written in her mother's tight, precise handwriting. And at the bottom of one page, circled 3 times in red ink, was a sequence labeled Emergency Override, Architect Level, Use Only if Locked Out. Nyah's fingers move to the small keypad below the screen. It's hidden beneath a magnetic panel, barely visible unless you know where to look. She presses the corner, and the panel slides open with a whisper of metal on metal. The man with glasses moves closer, his phone out, recording. This isn't standard procedure. Whatever she's accessing could compromise. Let her finish, Holt says. Everyone turns to look at him. His face has gone pale, but his eyes are locked on the vault door, on the amber light, on the possibility that someone might actually open what he's spent millions securing. Nyah types. Not a password, not a code. A sequence. 12 characters that mix numbers, symbols, and letters in a pattern that looks random unless you understand the algorithm her mother used. Binary converted to hexadecimal, then shifted by prime number intervals, then reversed. The kind of security measure you build when you don't trust the people you work for. She hits enter. The amber light turns green. The vault door hisses. Not the dramatic groan of a bank vault in a heist movie, just a soft mechanical exhale, the sound of pressurized seals releasing, of locks disengaging in sequence. 3 tons of steel and engineering begin to move. Someone gasps. The door swings open 6 inches, then a foot, then wide enough to see inside. Nyah steps back. The room rushes forward. Inside the vault, there are no gold bars, no stacks of cash, no diamonds or artifacts or physical wealth. Just metal shelving units, servers humming quietly, hard drives stacked in fireproof cases, filing boxes sealed with red tape and warning labels. And in the center, on a small desk, a single red folder. The lawyer reaches for it. Don't, Nyah says. The woman freezes. Excuse me? That folder is indexed. If you break the seal without proper clearance, the documentation inside automatically uploads to a remote server. Your fingerprints will be tagged as the breach point. The lawyer pulls her hand back like the folder just burned her. Holt stares at the open vault, his face unreadable. Then he looks at Nyah, really looks at her. Not the dismissive glance from before, not the performance of a man humiliating someone beneath him. This is different. This is recognition. Your mother, he says slowly, she didn't just build the algorithms. She built the vault. Nyah nods. She designed the whole system. Security architecture, access protocols, fail-safes, all of it. And she gave you the keys. She gave me what you tried to take from her, Nyah says. Leverage. The word lands like a grenade. Holt's jaw tightens. What do you want? I don't want anything, Nyah says. I never did. Then why are you here? Nyah walks to the vault entrance and picks up the red folder. The room tenses. She holds it in both hands, feeling the weight of paper and consequences. I'm here because my mother couldn't be. Because you made sure she'd never stand in a room like this again. Because you thought destroying one woman's career was just the cost of doing business. She turns to face him. I'm here to show you what happens when the people you erase don't stay erased. Holt's hands curl into fists. You have no idea what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. Nyah opens the folder. Inside are documents, financial records, trading logs, communications between Holt and offshore accounts, emails discussing market manipulation, reports her mother was told to alter, with her refusal documented and dated. Proof. Not of one crime, of a pattern, of years of decisions made by a man who believed he was untouchable. The man with glasses stares at the papers. Sir, if this is what I think it is... Shut up, Holt hisses. But it's too late. Security phones across the room begin vibrating in unison. Not random calls, coordinated notifications. The kind that happen when systems trigger alerts, when protocols activate, when someone, somewhere, just made a call that changes everything. Nyah looks at Holt one last time. You asked what I want. I want you to remember that the people you humiliate, the lives you destroy, they don't disappear. They evolve. They prepare. They wait. Chen's phone rings. He answers, listens, his face going rigid. He lowers the phone and looks at Holt. Sir, Chen says quietly. Federal agents just entered the building. The vault door stops moving. Nyah's hand hovers over the final keypad sequence, her finger 1 centimeter from the enter button, and the entire system freezes. Not a crash, not an error message, just stillness. The green light that promised access flickers once, twice, then shifts back to amber. The room erupts. What happened? The lawyer rushes forward, her heels sharp against the floor. Why did it stop? Nyah stares at the screen. Code scrolls across the display, lines of text moving too fast to read. Each line a command executing somewhere deep in the system architecture. Her mother's failsafe, the one protection Nyah hoped she'd never trigger. A timer appears on the screen, 60 seconds, counting down. What is that? Holt demands, his voice rising. What did you do? I didn't do anything, Nyah says, but her voice lacks conviction. She knows exactly what this is. Her mother built a final verification layer, not for security, for proof. A countdown that forces everyone in the room to wait, to watch, to understand that opening this vault means crossing a line that can't be uncrossed. Chen steps forward, his phone pressed to his ear. Sir, federal agents are in the lobby. They're requesting immediate access to this floor. Stall them, Holt snaps. On what grounds? I don't care what grounds. Buy me time. 45 seconds. The man with glasses moves closer to the vault, his eyes scanning the servers inside, the hard drives, the sealed documents. If those files contain what I think they contain, we need to secure them before anyone else sees. Nobody touches anything, Nyah interrupts. Her hand shakes now, not from fear, but from the weight of what comes next. The system is indexing. Any interference triggers an immediate upload to remote servers. No, the lawyer's face goes white. What servers? Ones you don't control. Holt takes 3 steps toward Nyah, closing the distance between them until she can smell his cologne, expensive and suffocating. Listen to me very carefully. Whatever your mother told you, whatever she made you believe, you're making a mistake. Those files are protected by attorney-client privilege, by executive confidentiality, by nothing that matters when federal investigators have a warrant. Nyah finishes. 30 seconds. The executives scatter. One moves toward the windows. Another pulls out her phone, fingers trembling over the screen. The man with glasses just stands frozen, watching the timer count down like it's the end of something he can't name. Chen's phone buzzes again. He listens, his expression hardening. Sir, they're not waiting. They're coming up now. 20 seconds. Holt's hand shoots out and grabs Nyah's wrist. Not violent, desperate. Stop this. Whatever you think you're accomplishing, it ends here. I can make this go away. The eviction, the debt, everything. Name your price. Nyah looks down at his hand on her wrist, then up at his face. For the first time since she entered this building, she sees him clearly. Not as a billionaire, not as an empire, just as a man who's realizing that money can't solve every problem. There is no price, she says quietly. 10 seconds. The screen flashes. New text appears. Final authorization required. Place hand on panel to confirm. Nyah pulls her wrist free and reaches for the panel. Don't, the lawyer warns. Once you confirm, there's no going back. You'll be implicated in whatever happens next. Your mother's documentation, your access, all of it becomes evidence. They'll investigate you, prosecute you if they can find grounds. Is that what you want? Nyah's hand stops inches from the screen. 5 seconds. Her mother's face flashes through her mind. Not the woman in the hospital bed. The woman before. The one who worked 16-hour days to build systems that protected billions of dollars. The one who refused to compromise her integrity, even when it cost her everything. The one who told Nyah that some battles choose you and walking away isn't always the moral choice. 3 seconds. If you're watching this right now, drop a comment and tell me what you'd do in Nyah's position. Would you walk away or finish what was started? I want to know where your head's at. 2 seconds. Nyah places her palm on the screen. The system freezes. Then the vault door groans and begins to swing shut. Everyone lunges forward at once. Chen grabs the edge of the door. The man with glasses tries to reach inside for the red folder. The lawyer shouts something about protocol and procedure and legal consequences. But the door doesn't stop. 3 tons of steel moves with mechanical certainty, pushing Chen back, forcing everyone away from the entrance. The gap narrows. 2 feet, 1 foot, 6 inches. The red folder sits on the desk inside, untouched, unreachable. Holt screams, "Override it! Shut it down!" Nyah backs away from the panel. "I can't! You opened it!" "I initiated the sequence. The system completes it. That's how fail-safes work." The door closes with a final metallic thud that echoes through the conference room like a gunshot. The screen goes dark. And in the silence that follows, elevator doors open down the hall. Footsteps in the hallway sound like a countdown. Federal agents move with the kind of efficiency that comes from executing warrants on people who are untouchable. 6 of them, maybe 7. Dark suits, badges clipped to belts. The lead agent, a woman with gray streaks in her hair and eyes that have seen enough corporate crime to fill libraries, stops at the conference room door. She doesn't knock. "Graham Holt?" Her voice carries the weight of sealed indictments and frozen accounts. Holt turns from the vault, his face a mixture of rage and calculation. "Agent, I don't know what you think you're going to find here, but I can assure you, save it." She holds up a document. "We have a warrant for all physical and digital records related to Holt Meridian Capital's offshore trading activities. That includes access to Vault C." The room goes still. The lawyer steps forward, her professional mask back in place. "Agent Reeves, I'm counsel for Mr. Holt. Any access to secured materials requires proper clearance and—" "We have clearance." Reeves gestures to the agents behind her. They move past her into the room, their movements precise, practiced. "We also have testimony from a protected witness. Documentation of algorithmic trading patterns that violate about 14 different federal statutes, and phone records that show coordination between your client and 3 offshore entities currently under investigation." Holt's face drains of color. "That's impossible." "Is it?" Reeves looks past him to the vault. "Because our witness seemed pretty confident that everything we need is right behind that door." Nyah stands near the window, trying to become invisible. But Reeves's eyes find her anyway. The agent's expression shifts, not hostile, but measuring, calculating who this girl is and why she's standing in a room full of executives while federal agents execute a warrant. "And you are?" Reeves asks. "Nobody," Nyah says quickly. "Try again." "Nyah Rivers. I started today. Junior analyst." Reeves' eyebrow raises slightly. "Interesting timing." She turns to one of her agents. "Chen, get our tech team up here. We need that vault opened in the next 10 minutes. The agent nods and speaks into his radio. Not Chen the security guard, a different Chen. "Federal. Authorized. The kind of person who doesn't need permission to access things that cost millions to secure." Holt's hands curl into fists. "You can't just walk in here and—" "We already did," Reeves interrupts. "And if you keep talking without your lawyer present, you're going to make her job a lot harder." The lawyer touches Holt's arm, a warning. He shakes her off. The vault door sits closed, the biometric panel dark. Nyah watches as two federal technicians arrive, carrying equipment that looks like it belongs in a surgery suite. They approach the panel carefully, respectfully, the way you approach something that might bite. One of them attaches a small device to the side of the panel. Wires snake from it to a laptop balanced on a portable stand. Code fills the screen. The technician's fingers move fast, typing commands that probe the security system, looking for weaknesses, backdoors, anything that might give them access without triggering whatever defenses the vault still holds. "This is military-grade encryption," one technician mutters. "Whoever designed this knew what they were doing." Nyah almost smiles. Her mother always knew what she was doing. 20 minutes pass, then 30. The technicians work in silence, their frustration growing with each failed attempt. Reeves paces near the windows, her phone pressed to her ear, speaking in low tones to someone who clearly outranks everyone in the room. The lawyer makes 3 phone calls of her own, 2 to partners at her firm. One to someone she addresses as Senator. The conversation is brief, quiet, and ends with her looking more worried than before. Holt sits in a conference chair, his empire crumbling in real time, and stares at nothing. At 45 minutes, one of the technicians leans back from his laptop. "Ma'am, we're locked out. Whatever override was used earlier triggered a secondary security protocol. The system won't accept any authentication now." Reeves turns to Nyah. "You opened it before." "I initiated a sequence," Nyah corrects. "The system completed it." "Can you do it again?" "No." "Can't or won't?" Nyah meets her eyes. "Both." Reeves studies her for a long moment, the kind of silence that makes guilty people confess. But Nyah isn't guilty. Not of anything except being her mother's daughter. Not of anything except finishing what someone else started. "Agent Reeves," one of the technicians says, "we're getting a notification. The system just sent an outbound transmission." Everyone turns. The technician stares at his screen. It's uploading. Vault contents being transmitted to an external server. We can trace the destination, but we can't stop it. Holt stands so fast his chair falls backward. No, that's impossible. But it's not impossible. It's exactly what Nyah Rivers designed. A failsafe within a failsafe. If the vault is compromised, if federal agents breach the building, if anyone tries to force access without proper authorization, the system protects itself the only way it can. It shares everything. The technician's hands fly over his keyboard. Upload is complete. Files transmitted to multiple destinations, legal aid organizations, financial oversight committees, 3 different news organizations, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. The room explodes into chaos. Executives shout. Phones ring. The lawyer looks like she might be sick. Reeves just smiles. Cold, satisfied. The smile of someone who just watched years of investigation pay off in a single moment. She walks over to Holt. "Graham Holt, you're under arrest for securities fraud, market manipulation, and obstruction of justice." An agent moves forward with handcuffs. Holt doesn't resist. He just looks at Nyah one last time. "You could have had everything." Nyah stands near the window, the city sprawling below her, and watches as they lead him away. She doesn't feel triumphant. She doesn't feel vindicated. She just feels tired and free. The conference room empties slowly, like water draining from a broken vessel. Agents escort executives out in small groups, each one holding a business card with instructions to contact legal representation. The man with glasses leaves without looking at anyone. The lawyer makes 6 more phone calls before federal agents tell her to put the phone away. Chen, the security guard, stands near the elevator with his hands behind his back, his career ending in real time. Nyah stays by the window. Agent Reeves approaches carefully, the way you approach someone who might bolt if you move too fast. She doesn't sit. She just stands next to Nyah and looks out at the city. "Your mother was Nyah Rivers," Reeves says. Not a question, a statement. Nyah nods. "We interviewed her 4 years ago. She gave us some documentation but refused to testify. Said she had a daughter to protect. Said going on record would put you in danger." Nyah's throat tightens. Her mother never told her about an interview, never mentioned federal agents or testimony or protection. She just kept working, kept fighting, kept building walls around her daughter even as her own world collapsed. She died 3 months ago, Nyah says quietly. I know. We tried to reach her about this, got the death certificate instead. Reeves pulls a card from her pocket and holds it. Throw it out. We're going to need your statement. Everything you know about the vault, the security systems, the files your mother left you. This case is going to trial, and your testimony could... No. Reeves pauses. No. I'm not testifying. Nyah takes the card but doesn't look at it. My mother spent years trying to expose Holt. It destroyed her career, her health, her life. I'm not spending the next 5 years in depositions and courtrooms watching lawyers try to discredit everything she built. Those files you released are going to be challenged. Defense attorneys will claim they're fabricated, that the chain of custody is compromised, then you'll have to prove they're real without me. Reeves studies her. You came here for something. You didn't walk into this building and open that vault just to walk away now. Nyah turns from the window. I came here for closure, not revenge, not money, closure. And did you get it? The question hangs between them. Nyah thinks about her mother in the hospital, the monitors beeping, the machines breathing for her when her lungs couldn't anymore. She thinks about the promises she made, the ones she broke. I don't know yet, Nyah admits. Reeves nods like she understands. Maybe she does. Maybe she's seen enough cases, enough victims, enough people trying to find justice in systems designed to protect the powerful. If you change your mind, call me. Not for the case, just to talk. She walks away, leaving Nyah alone in the conference room with the closed vault and the city below. An hour passes, maybe 2. Building security eventually asks her to leave. She takes the elevator down, the same one she rode up, and walks through the lobby where this all started. The marble still gleams, the chandelier still sparkles, the security guards still smile without warmth. Nothing has changed. Everything has changed. Outside, the city moves around her like water around stone. People rush past with coffee and phones and problems that feel enormous until you realize how small they actually are. Nyah stands on the sidewalk and breathes air that doesn't taste like hospitals or fear or endings. Her phone buzzes, a text from her cousin. How was the first day? Nyah almost laughs, almost. Instead, she types back, interesting. 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. You coming over tonight? Yeah. Good, I made dinner, you can tell me everything. Nyah puts her phone away and starts walking. Not toward the subway, not toward her cousin's apartment, just walking. She needs to move, to feel her body working, to prove to herself that she's still here, still standing, still breathing. She walks for blocks, past coffee shops and bookstores and small parks, where people sit on benches and pretend the city isn't crushing them. She walks until her feet hurt, until the sun starts setting, until the sky turns colors she forgot existed. When she finally stops, she's standing in front of a cemetery, her mother's cemetery. The gates are still open. Visiting hours end 20 minutes. Nyah walks through, past rows of headstones, past graves marked with flowers and flags and stones left by people who still remember. She finds her mother's plot near a tree that's just starting to bloom. The headstone is simple, just a name, dates. No quotes or epitaphs or promises about heaven. Her mother wasn't religious. She believed in numbers and logic and systems that could be proven. Nyah sits on the grass. Her work clothes are going to stain. She doesn't care. I did it, she says to the stone. I opened the vault. I released everything. They arrested him. It's done. The tree branches move in the wind. Somewhere nearby, birds call to each other in voices that sound like questions. I don't know if it was worth it, Nyah continues. I don't know if you'd be proud or angry or disappointed. I don't know if this is what you wanted when you left me those files. She closes her eyes. I just know I couldn't let him win. I couldn't let him erase you like you never existed, like you never mattered. A tear slips down her cheek, then another. She doesn't wipe them away. She just sits there, crying in a cemetery at sunset, mourning a woman who deserved better than what this world gave her. Before you move on to the next part, I want you to take a moment. Think about the people in your life who fought battles you never saw, the ones who protected you by carrying weight you never knew existed. Drop a comment and tell me about them. Let's honor the Nyah Rivers of the world together. When the cemetery guard walks past and gently reminds her that visiting hours are over, Nyah stands. She touches the headstone once, her palm flat against the stone, and makes a promise that's different from the ones before. "I'm going to live," she whispers. "Not just survive. Live. That's what you wanted, right? For me to have the life you couldn't." The guard waits politely at a distance. Nyah walks back through the gates, through the city streets, toward her cousin's apartment where dinner is waiting and questions will be asked, and life will continue in all its messy, complicated, beautiful ways. She doesn't look back at the cemetery. She doesn't need to. Her mother isn't there. She's in the algorithms that still run on servers 53 floors above Manhattan, in the security systems that protected truth until the right moment, in the daughter who learned that power doesn't always look like money or buildings or control. Sometimes power looks like a girl in thrifted clothes who knows more than anyone expects, and that's enough. The news breaks before Holt reaches the precinct. Screens across Manhattan light up with headlines that will define careers and end others. Financial networks interrupt regular programming. Phones vibrate in pockets and purses across the city. Within 20 minutes, every major outlet is running the story. Billionaire hedge fund manager arrested in fraud scandal. Holt Meridian Capital faces federal investigation. Leaked documents reveal years of market manipulation. Inside a federal building downtown, Holt sits in an interrogation room that smells like industrial cleaner and desperation. His lawyer sits beside him, her portfolio open, her pen moving across paper and notes that might save him or might just document his downfall. Agent Reeves sits across the table. She hasn't said anything in 5 minutes, just watching, waiting. The silence is a weapon, and she wields it with precision. Holt breaks first. "This is a misunderstanding. Those files were taken without authorization. Any evidence gathered from them is inadmissible." "Is that your official statement?" Reeves asks. The lawyer touches his arm. "Don't answer that. I want to know who authorized the breach. Someone accessed secure materials without proper clearance. That's corporate espionage. That's theft." Reeves leans forward. "You mean your former employee's daughter accessed materials her mother legally created and maintained? Materials that prove your company engaged in systematic fraud?" "She had no right." "She had every right," Reeves interrupts. "Her mother built those systems. She held legal ownership of the intellectual property. And when she died, those rights transferred to her heir. Your lawyers are going to argue otherwise, but 3 separate legal teams have already reviewed the documentation. It's airtight." Holt's hands shake, small tremors he can't control. His empire is collapsing in real time, and there's nothing he can do but watch. No amount of money can unsend those files. No lawyer can argue away documentation that's already been verified by federal forensic accountants. His phone, confiscated when he was arrested, sits in an evidence bag on the table. It's been buzzing for the past hour. Investors, board members, people who trusted him with billions and are now watching those billions evaporate. "We have testimony from 4 former employees," Reeves continues. "People you threatened into silence. People who signed NDAs they now realize were designed to cover up criminal activity. They're willing to testify." The lawyer writes faster. "We have trading records that show coordination with offshore accounts minutes before major market movements. We have emails discussing how to structure deals to avoid regulatory oversight. We have recordings of phone calls where you explicitly instructed staff to falsify risk assessments." Holt's face goes gray. "Those recordings are privileged, not when they're evidence of ongoing criminal activity." The lawyer closes her portfolio. "Agent Reeves, unless you're prepared to formally charge my client, this interview is over." "Oh, we're charging him." Reeves stands and gestures to the door. 2 agents enter with documents. "Graham Holt, you're being charged with 12 counts of securities fraud, 8 counts of wire fraud, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to commit market manipulation. Your bail hearing is scheduled for tomorrow morning." The lawyer's professional mask cracks. 12 counts, 8 counts, numbers that add up to decades in federal prison. Holt just stares at the table. Across the city, in the apartment Nyah's cousin shares with 2 roommates, 6 people crowd around a laptop watching news coverage. Nyah sits on the floor, her back against the couch. a plate of food she hasn't touched balanced on her knees. "That's him," her cousin Amara says, pointing at the screen. "That's the man who destroyed Aunt Janice?" Nyah nods. "Good. I hope they bury him." The others murmur agreement. Friends and family who watched Janice Rivers work herself into an early grave. People who brought food when the hospital bills. Encryption? 3-ton reinforced door, designed by the same team that built panic rooms for foreign dignitaries. He turns back to her. "It's impossible to..." Got too high. People who helped move furniture when the eviction notice came. People who understand that justice delayed isn't justice denied if it finally arrives. Nyah's phone hasn't stopped ringing. News outlets, legal firms, organizations that want her story, her testimony, her face attached to headlines that will dominate cycles for weeks. She's ignored every call. "You should talk to someone," Amara says gently. "Tell your side. People need to hear..." "I don't have a side," Nyah interrupts. "I just have what happened." "That's still a side." "Maybe. Or maybe it's just the truth, and truth doesn't need marketing or spin or carefully crafted statements designed to generate the sympathy. Maybe truth just needs to exist, documented and undeniable, available to anyone willing to look." On screen, financial analysts discuss the implications. Market experts predict fallout. Former employees give interviews from shadows, their voices altered, their identities protected. Each one tells stories of pressure and threats and NDAs signed under duress. Each one mentions Janice Rivers, not by name at first, but eventually someone connects the pieces. A former colleague appears on camera, her face visible, her voice clear. "Janice tried to warn us years ago. She refused to sign off on questionable trades. She documented everything, and they destroyed her for it." Nyah watches the screen through blurred vision. "They made sure no one would hire her," the woman continues. "Blacklisted her across the entire industry. She was brilliant. She should have been running her own firm. Instead, she died broken because she chose integrity over survival." Amara takes Nyah's hand, squeezes. The broadcast shifts to legal analysis. Experts discuss potential sentences. Federal guidelines, precedents involving white-collar crime. Numbers that sound almost comical in their magnitude. 40 years, 60 years, life in prison. Holt won't serve life. Men like him never do. But he'll serve something. And his name, his reputation, his legacy will be permanently marked by this moment. That's not nothing. The news switches to footage of Holt Meridian Tower. Police tape blocks the entrance. Federal agents carry boxes of documents to unmarked vans. Employees exit the building with personal items in cardboard boxes, their careers ending before lunch. Nyah's phone buzzes again. This time, she looks. A number she doesn't recognize. A voicemail from someone claiming to be a book publisher. Another from a podcast producer. A third from a documentary filmmaker. She deletes them all. "You're really not going to talk to anyone?" Amara asks. "I already did everything I needed to do. But people want to hear from you. They want to know. They want a story," Nyah says. "They want drama and revenge and a hero who stands up and makes a speech about justice. That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" Nyah looks at the screen, at the building where her mother worked, at the vault that held secrets for years. It's just a daughter finishing what her mother started. That's all. The room goes quiet. On screen, the coverage continues. Experts speculate. Markets react. The world moves forward because the world always moves forward, absorbing scandals and crimes and revelations, like water absorbing rain. Nyah finally takes a bite of food. It's cold now. She eats it anyway. Somewhere downtown, Graham Holt sits in a cell and understands for the first time what it means to lose everything. And in an apartment full of people who love her, Nyah Rivers closes her eyes and lets herself breathe. 6 months later, the trial concludes on a Tuesday morning that feels like any other. Nyah doesn't attend. She watches the verdict announcement from a coffee shop in Brooklyn, her laptop balanced on a small table, headphones blocking out the ambient noise of espresso machines in conversation. The jury forewoman stands and reads the verdict with the kind of solemnity reserved for moments that will be studied in law schools for decades. guilty on all counts. The courtroom erupts. Holt's lawyers immediately file for appeal. The judge sets sentencing for 8 weeks out. News cameras capture every moment, every reaction, every face in the gallery. Nyah closes her laptop. She's not celebrating. She's not relieved. She's just finished. The weight she's carried for months lifts slowly, like fog burning off water, and what's left underneath is lighter than she expected. Her phone rings. Agent Reeves. Nyah hesitates, then answers. "You watching?" Reeves asks. "I was." "Good. It's over." "Is it?" Reeves pauses. "The criminal case is. Civil suits will take years. Victims trying to recover losses. Shareholders demanding accountability. But the man who destroyed your mother's career is going to prison. That's something." Nyah stares out the window at people walking past. "He offered me money, right before you arrived. He said I could have everything." "What did you say?" "I said I already did." Reeves laughs quietly. "Your mother would be proud." "Would she?" "She spent years trying to expose him. You did it in one day." "Yeah, I think she'd be proud." They sit in silence for a moment. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. Two people who understand that justice doesn't always feel like victory. Sometimes, it just feels like closing a door that should have been closed years ago. "What are you going to do now?" Reeves asks. "Live," Nyah says. That's what she wanted. "Good answer." They end the call. Nyah finishes her coffee and leaves the shop. The city stretches around her, massive and indifferent, full of people fighting battles no one else sees. She walks without direction, just moving, feeling the spring air on her face. Her phone buzzes with notifications, news alerts, messages from people she hasn't spoken to in years. Everyone wants to know how she feels, what she thinks, what she plans to do next. She ignores them all. 3 blocks later, she stops in front of a community center. The building is old, repurposed, paint peeling in places but clean. A sign advertises free financial literacy classes, math tutoring for high school students, resume workshops for people re-entering the workforce. Nyah walks inside. A woman at the front desk looks up and smiles. "Can I help you?" "I saw the sign about math tutoring. I wanted to volunteer." The woman's smile widens. "We always need tutors. Can you start next week?" "I can start today if you need me." An hour later, Nyah sits in a classroom with 6 teenagers who look at her with the same skepticism she used to reserve for teachers who claimed math would matter in real life. She doesn't tell them about Holt. She doesn't mention the vault or the trial or the headlines. She just teaches them about compound interest, about how small amounts saved early become large amounts later, about how understanding numbers gives you power in a world designed to keep power concentrated. One girl raises her hand. "Why does this matter? None of us are going to be rich anyway." Nyah pauses. "My mother used to say that wealth isn't just about money. It's about options. Understanding finance gives you options. It means predatory lenders can't trap you. It means you can read contracts before you sign them. It means you recognize when someone's trying to take advantage." The girl considers this. "Your mom sounds smart." She was. What did she do? She built systems that protected billions of dollars. And when people tried to use those systems to hurt others, she fought back. It cost her everything. The room goes quiet. "Did she win?" Another student asks. Nyah thinks about the vault, about the files, about a man in prison and a daughter who kept promises. Eventually, she teaches for 2 hours. When she leaves, the sun is setting, painting the sky colors that look like hope if you choose to see them that way. Her phone rings again. This time, she answers. Nyah Rivers speaking. "Miss Rivers, this is Patricia Okonkwo from the Financial Justice Coalition. We're a nonprofit that advocates for whistleblowers and helps victims of corporate fraud. We heard about your case and wanted to reach out. I'm not giving interviews. I'm not asking for one. I'm offering you a position. We need someone who understands complex financial systems, someone who's lived through what we're trying to prevent. Someone who can teach others to recognize warning signs before it's too late." Nyah stops walking. "What kind of position?" "Director of Education and Outreach. You develop curriculum, train community members, Help people understand their rights when dealing with corporations that have more lawyers than they have morals. I'm not qualified. You opened a vault that 5 experts couldn't crack. You exposed one of the biggest financial frauds in a decade. And you did it to honor your mother, not for personal gain. I'd say you're exactly qualified. Nyah looks back at the community center, at the building where teenagers are learning about compound interest and options and power. Can I think about it? Take your time. But not too much time. We need people like you. The call ends. Nyah stands on the sidewalk and feels something she hasn't felt in months. Not closure, not relief. Something bigger. Something that feels like purpose. She texts her cousin. I think I know what I'm going to do. 3 dots appear immediately. Tell me. I'm going to teach people how to protect themselves. How to understand the systems that control their lives. How to fight back when fighting back seems impossible. Sounds like something Aunt Janice would do. Yeah, it does. Nyah puts her phone away and walks toward the subway. Tomorrow, she'll call Patricia Okonkwo. Tomorrow, she'll start building something her mother would recognize. Tomorrow, she'll turn grief into action and pain into protection for people who need it. But tonight, she goes home. She makes dinner. She calls Amara. She watches terrible reality TV and laughs at jokes that aren't funny but feel good anyway. She lives. Because that's what her mother wanted. Not revenge, not headlines, not vindication. Just a daughter who survives everything thrown at her and builds something better from the wreckage. The city moves around her like it always does. Millions of people fighting battles no one else sees, carrying weight that would crush them if they stopped moving, surviving in systems designed to break them. And somewhere in Brooklyn, a girl who opened a vault sits on her cousin's couch and makes plans for tomorrow. The world keeps turning, problems keep coming, corporations keep finding ways to exploit loopholes and people and trust. But now, there's one more person who knows how to fight back. One more voice in rooms where voices like hers aren't supposed to exist. One more daughter who learned that power doesn't always announce itself with wealth or status or buildings that touch the sky. Sometimes power is just knowledge and determination, and the willingness to finish what someone else started. Nyah closes her eyes and thinks about her mother. Not in a hospital bed, not in a cemetery, but standing in an office 53 floors above Manhattan, building systems designed to protect truth even when truth is dangerous. I finished it, Nyah whispers to the memory. I kept my promise. And somewhere, in whatever comes after this life, maybe Janice Rivers smiles. Or maybe she's already moved on to the next problem, the next fight, the next system that needs someone brave enough to expose its cracks. Either way, her daughter is ready to teach, ready to fight, ready to make sure that people who think they're untouchable learn what happens when the ones they destroy refuse to stay destroyed. The story ends here, but the work continues, because justice isn't a moment, it's a process, and processes need people willing to show up day after day, even when the cameras stop rolling and the headlines fade. People like Nyah Rivers, people like her mother, people like you, if you choose to be. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Who are you underestimating in your life right now? Who are you ignoring because they don't look powerful or important or worth your attention? Think about that, because the person you dismiss today might be the one who changes everything tomorrow. Drop a comment with your thoughts. Share this story if it moved you. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And remember that power doesn't always look like what you expect. Sometimes it looks like a girl in thrifted clothes who knows more than anyone realizes. Sometimes it looks like you. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and thanks for believing that stories like this matter. See you in the next one.